Hello, strangers. Ooh, I might need my charger. Hello, any night owls that we might have out here? Maybe not, maybe so. I just wanted to come on tonight because I said I was going to earlier, and then I almost went to go take a shower and go to bed. And then I realized that I am still gonna do a live stream tonight because I did not post last week. Hello, who's here? Say hi. I have a lot to talk about, so I guess this is kind of gonna be like a journal, another journal like last time. Maybe that's just like, maybe that's what YouTube has just become. Reagan, oh, that's okay. It's good to see you. I haven't been around much either. In fact, I think last Wednesday or Thursday, I kind of put a pause, a hold on, oh, you're gonna love this then. You are gonna love this. Had to kind of press pause on a lot of things. Actually, let me clean my screen really quick. My camera, because I put my finger on there to take a picture so that the thumbnail would be black. And my finger must have like some nice grease on it or something, so it looks really clouded. Okay. I cleaned my room this weekend, unpacked a bunch of boxes and threw away a whole bunch of stuff, and had to make a decision. Hey, who else is here? I see that there's 2 people. I had to make a decision this week, and I'm so happy that you mentioned mental health break, because last week we did a 3-day long like shadow work adventure type thing. And oh yeah, after the last video I did where I talked about having 3 calls in a row, like not answer, and then me having to set new energetic requirements, I'm so happy to announce that those energetic requirements led to me having the perfect, most amazing client lineup, pay me in full, have 5 people join, or is it 4? Nope, 5 people join my membership group, and that was all in like 2 days. So Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday. So in 3 days, I made almost $6,000 from setting these new boundaries, these new standards, making them very, very clear. And I say this because I want you guys to know how setting energetic requirements and knowing what your standards are, and then making them come forward in your life, how it manifests in your life, how it materializes in your life. And I know that one of the biggest problems in the magical community is that people like shame money, and so that becomes like a huge barrier to be able to see like how you do cycle through needing like these mental health breaks and things like that. And they are useful. They're extremely useful whenever you know like the energetic pattern of like what's actually happening during those cycles. Okay, so usually whenever somebody who like shames money, let's say, or shames like pleasure in their life, whenever somebody has pleasure secretly hidden as like a shadow, it shuts down our system. You don't see a lot of people like going through chaos and distress, like just shutting down, because you're in like survival mode, and like all of your survival archetypes are running the show, and they're, you know, placing you in this situation or that, you know, helping you to say the right things and to do the right things. And, you know, they have a purpose. But whenever you're not in survival, whenever you are experiencing pleasure and you're experiencing the things that you actually, you know, commanded to happen, they start happening. What can happen then is that we kind of shut down because these archetypes that are essentially running our lives for us, they don't have a job anymore. So we start taking order and creating chaos from it instead of creating order from chaos, right? So that is kind of like where I want to start with this whole thing, because something really interesting happened on, I want to say it was either Wednesday night or Thursday during the day, and I didn't realize what was happening, and I made a post on Patreon. Hi, Dragon Star Alchemy. Oh, cool. Well, I hope you have a good sleep if you end up leaving. Yeah, it was really cool, Reagan. It was like we did for 3 days. It was Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of last week where we did like a live Zoom call, and it was just, it was really incredible. And anyways, today I made this post on Patreon. I'm gonna see if I can find it. So I made like a blog post on there, and I'm gonna read it to you guys, because on one of my members already. So I know that the work that I do is like extremely confronting, and it doesn't matter how many times I say it's confronting, right? It doesn't register. Like, it doesn't register until you're in the moment having to make the decision and go all the way and take that big leap where you don't really know what's going to happen, right? So unfortunately, somebody who I was and still am, honestly, like, even if we're not talking, right, like, that doesn't mean that we're not still close, but somebody who I maybe put a lot too, almost maybe too much, maybe I invested in them a little too much, and like my expectations for what they would go off and do were a little too not high. I was just invested in that, you know, and having to take a step back, because essentially what happened was I gave somebody an assignment and they couldn't do it. And so what they did was they stepped out of the group completely, like everything. They just stepped away and was like, something in my body's telling me not to do this. And earlier that day, we were having a conversation about how, like, when you sit there in your feelings and you're bonding with all of your shame and like guilt or fears, then what happens is you like create this bond that, I mean, obviously your body, your subconscious, and what's coded in your body, aka survival archetypes, you're like agreeing with that pattern instead of agreeing with the new transformational pattern. And when you sit in this survival pattern too long and you don't make decisive action or take decisive action and just do the new thing, the scary thing, then you will revert and you'll go back into that cycle, and you'll go back in needing like a mental health break or a check-in to see if like what you're doing is the right thing, and like need to stay grounded in everything making sense. And the journey that I go on daily and take people on daily does not make sense. Like, it's never going to make sense to the consciousness that we have been coded and programmed to run. And so when I say this work is confronting, I'm not like just using a random word. Like, it is extremely confronting, and a lot of people can't actually handle it. So it was, I think, Wednesday, whenever, and my membership is like no refunds thing. So this girl, this woman has signed up for a $200 a month program and couldn't do one thing because she spent too much time bonding with her fear. Does that make sense? And so what happened to me after that was I started questioning, holy shit, like, am I maybe being too hard on people? Am I expecting too much of people? Am I being like too inconsiderate of their feelings? And the truth is, like, fuck no. Like, that's what people hire me for, is to like hold their ass to the fire, hold them to what they say that they want. And at the same time, if people want to walk out, then that's clearly up to them, right? And so I took ownership of like my part in this, and what ended up happening was myself taking a step back, quieting myself, and I spent all weekend like really unplugged from anyone, clients, my programs, my Discord, social media, just really unplugged. I watched Netflix like all weekend. And then finally today, something clicked in me where I realized that I was processing a lot of shit during the weekend. Oh, I did a live stream, and it's on my community tab if you want to go see it. Let me see. Gonna be here for the long haul unless I pass out, but this is interesting, so I'll get a second wind. Awesome. Hi, Naldo. Hi, Keenan. What's up, you guys? Okay. So today, okay, I've gotten to a point in my own mastery where whenever I do feel myself pull back a little bit and have to like reassess the situation, I don't judge it. I don't blame myself, I don't guilt myself, I don't shame myself. And that's something that I make like very sure not to do. But I've also been practicing that for a long time, where I don't get too much of a reaction from weird things happening like that, you know? But today it like clicked for me exactly what was happening, exactly what I was processing. And the crazy part was that I binged on the show Lucifer, which is wild because like I just ordered a Lucifer necklace. And then today a post came out about the devil isn't out there. It's in my Patreon, which I usually link everywhere. I'm gonna read it to you guys. So it says this weekend was, well, something else. Something I haven't quite gotten the opportunity to experience yet. I'm just gonna turn the screen down, it's kind of bright. Something I haven't quite got the opportunity to experience yet. I've heard all about this place and understood it in theory, but the amount of held tension required to meet yourself here is extraordinary. A discomfort that most people would run in terror from, to the nearest self-help book or technique or therapist or yoga class or whatever would temporarily extinguish. Actually, it started Thursday night when I had to make a critical decision on whether to fold on my standards and cave out of empathy, or to continue my path, destroying every last ounce of sympathy for the weak human shadow consciousness that we've all been coded with. I don't know about you, but from the first moment I had a run-in with law enforcement, it was clear to me that it is absolute bullshit to be born into a system that enforces rules and laws on people that we never really had any choice but to agree on. Our parents signed our birth certificates, just as we did for our children, if you have any, not realizing why or what exactly we were signing away. Or maybe we did. Maybe we knew and choose not to give it any attention. After all, signing away the monster within for the perception and illusion of safety and security doesn't sound all that bad if you have no trouble looking away. And that's where the professional just look away training begins. Almost immediately, once we're introduced into this world. Still, I digress. I'm sure I don't have to tell you that some of the decisions we make day to day can be so gut-wrenchingly difficult. I had to make one of those decisions recently, and it sent me down a spiral of avoidance and questioning if I'm doing the right thing, if I'm too harsh with people, if maybe I should be a little more forgiving, a little more soft, a little more relatable, if maybe I'm being selfish and inconsiderate, as if it could be any other way. The truth is that there is no other way around being centered in self, not if what you're after is true transformation. There is a reason why know thyself is one of the most common spiritual concepts. The problem is that few dare to go there because they're afraid of the monster they may encounter on the way to self-actualization. We began our transformative journey, and just as the tension becomes too much, we have a decision to make. Hold it just a little bit longer and finally see what's on the other side, or cave, as most everyone does. Revert back to the feel-good decisions that are safe, comfortably uncomfortable, but most of all, known and totally risk-free. Knowing that there is something deep within stirring and unsettled, the part of you that will never let you be totally fulfilled, always longing, always starving. But hey, at least we know what to expect while caged. I'm here to tell you that there absolutely is a monster in your story. The monster to this point has always been somewhere outside of us, something we bump up against and make mean something. We let the monsters out there give us so much to fight for, to maintain the illusion that you're the good guy, right? I have to say that the biggest monster of all, the one we have been afraid to face, is indeed very much alive and well, and you know exactly where it resides. Caged, it will destroy you. Unleashed, well, it will destroy all that stands in the way between you and you. The monster is the very thing that sets you free. The degree to which you choose to empower it or keep it caged is a precise measurement of the amount of ecstasy that is available to you in any given moment. Seems like it would be an easy choice to make, and clearly it is not. The amount of self-belief one must have to encounter and free their innermost devil is unrelenting as much as it is the key. So I just wrote that tonight, and the decision that I had to make was one, again, around standards, just like it was 2 weeks ago. And what I figured out is that this new client of mine, new participant in my membership group, but not new person in my life whatsoever, somebody who I've always seen like excel and just, make leap after leap, and I would never have seen this coming in a million years, was a gift to me, because there has been a part of my life that I've known needed to change for a long time, and that decision had to be made this weekend. And finally, yesterday, I did it. And I'm not picking my nose, I'm like closing my septum, right? It keeps coming loose. It was a very, very hard conversation that I had to have with somebody that I love dearly. And it was awkward and uncomfortable and totally freeing at the same time. And it required me to be the bad guy in the story, right? So the point is that sometimes we have to commit to that role in our lives. Like, we spend all of our lives thinking that we're the good guy in the story, and, everyone else is wrong and all of this bullshit. And it's not true. And it's also not false. And, what is really going on is we're doing this together, right? Everybody thinks that they're right. If I was to get into a fight with somebody, clearly they would think that they were right, and I would think that I was right. And sometimes you have to know that you're not right, and it doesn't matter, because it's what you value and it's what you hold highest in your life. And that is a huge, it might not seem like it's much of anything, it might just seem like words, but when you're in the situation where you are, let's just use like an argument or something, for example, because I can't think of a better like analogy or a metaphor or just scenario than an actual like argument, to where there's two people who think that they're both right and they're just going at it, right? Well, just imagine that one of those people knows that this is all a game and there's nothing really at stake here. Like, it doesn't matter who's right or wrong, and that there is no right or wrong. And then there's the other person who is fully committed to their role as this character. What happens is every single person on this live stream or who watches this in the future is going to be this person who knows it's a game and that there isn't really anything to lose in this situation, to where you kind of play devil's advocate, and like, even though it doesn't actually fucking matter, like, you're like committing yourself to this role as well. And so what we have to do is like step out of the commitment to the role and basically know, like, if you know that like what you're speaking is right or wrong, doesn't matter. And so there's a level of empathy that's lost because you're not really now fighting for finding a common ground. You're just playing the game and it doesn't matter. You are, how can I explain this better? Okay, so let's say you're like defending yourself, and maybe something that you value or some kind of standard that you have, and you are defending yourself because if you didn't defend yourself and you were just like, yeah, actually that's true, and you let the other person be like the right one, the good guy, and you made yourself the bad guy in that situation by saying like, yeah, I'm a total shithead, like, in your eyes maybe, or I'm like, I don't have to be perfect. I don't have to be what you expect me to be, right? And that's okay. And like, not expecting them to be that way either. But the thing is that we have like this wall up. We have this wall up where we need to be liked. We need to be accepted. We need for our way to be right. But once you realize that your way isn't actually right, there's like this whole other level of freedom that happens. But there's so much fucking tension that you have to hold to be able to break through that other side, where you're like sitting there and you're like, I can't even explain what it actually feels like, but it feels like almost kind of like anxiety, but it's like it's excited anxiety at the same time. Like, I know those two are kind of the same word, but it's like you're running like pure fucking like unmanifest chaos in your body, and like it's scrambling your wiring and it's scrambling your whole system, and you don't know what's going to happen and you don't care. And it makes you feel like you're going fucking crazy. But just when you think that you can't take anymore, it gets stronger. And then eventually it like explodes like a volcano. And what comes out of that volcano is like, holy fuck. Then you remember again that like it's just a game, and that you have total fucking power over like your reality, and the devil that you just played, you have like the authority to play that character. It's like I don't know. This probably sounds totally fucking crazy, but I'm just trying to explain like a situation that happened. Like I said at the beginning of this is kind of like a journal entry for me, like a little vlog or something to just kind of explain the energy of right now. And like, I don't know what the stars say right now is aligned for. I know we're in Mercury retrograde, and I totally forgot about that until Saturday whenever I did a stream with Curtis and Kova. They were talking about Mercury retrograde and like technology malfunctioning, but also like our inner technology is malfunctioning, but like in a really fucking cool way. If you can just like hold this pose and like just remember that like if you label something as like anxiety and need to like put a fix on it, or need to fix yourself, or need to agree with other people's standards over your own, and you kind of sell yourself out so that you can be accepted or loved, right? But really like inside you just kind of don't give a fuck. Like if you hold that, or if you label that as like anxiety and needing a fix, then it puts you back in this cycle that gets you nowhere. And it's never really truly transformation. It's just cyclical. It's just like experiences happening the same way every time, but with different faces. But if you're in that same situation and you don't label it, you just let it be fucking tension and like chaos and like what feels like your death on the inside. You just let it be there, and you don't label it, and you don't need a fix for it, and you just fucking chill guilt free and don't like try and analyze yourself, and you just let it let it be what it is, and know that it is a part of your process where you're like actually birthing something. It's kind of like, I guess, the way it felt to have Zoe, where it fucking sucked, but what happened after was like glorious. That's kind of how I see it. Anyways, you've been going through some kind of ascension too. I've been seeing a lot more shadows pass by me, and I've been having more psychic experiences. 2 people came to me who have died. I saw their photos. Yeah, I knew that your gifts were coming, like your gifts are really coming through lately. So I wonder what it would be like for you to like hold that tension in yourself, instead of like how you said that you needed a mental health break. Like I'm curious about like what that mental health break looks like for you. What does it look like whenever we take a mental health break, or like have a mental health check, or whatever the fuck it is? Like, I don't know. We're not the same. Like we're not the same as people who just continuously need to adjust to stay fitting in like the current paradigm of human consciousness. Like we're here to flip it. We're here to turn it on its head, and that requires like unrelenting like self-awareness, belief in yourself as the fucking devil, like as the monster in all of the, you know, all of the stories we've been told since the beginning of time. But we're human, right? We're like in human bodies, and it doesn't make any sense. And it doesn't need to. And what happens after it not needing to is like, holy fuck, this is really cool and pleasurable. The adversary, totally. That's perfect, the adversary. I haven't really talked to people in like 3 or 4 days, so this is interesting. Just to see what comes out. Oh, I meant to say, that whole time this weekend, while the tension and chaos inside of me was building it was like really fucking calm. Like it was so calm. And I decided to like rearrange my room and like clean it, throw away tons of shit. Like I threw away so much stuff. And I did it because it's like what my intuition was guiding me to. It was like it was an inspired action, because at some point yesterday, I think, yeah, it was yesterday, after I dropped my husband off at work and we had like a really intense conversation, um, there was a point last night after I got back home where I was like, it was like the bubble had just it had just burst, and then I was like filled with this energy, that was like, it was like a pure creation channel. And I did some like what I call black flame alchemy. I did some like alchemy on myself and with what was like streaming through, and it was so clear. I mean, it might as well have been like written in the wall and like glowing, right? Like it was so clear. It was like, fix your fucking space now. Because one of the things that I'm committed to is being a master of space and time. And there was like, my own room wasn't up to my own standard. And I think actually that was before the bubble burst. Yeah, that was before it burst. And this morning, whenever I went into Discord, the Black Flame Alchemy membership, the acronym for that is BFAM. That's pretty cool. So anyways, just went in there and I saw that one of our members, Jules, talked about how it was like eerily calm this weekend, and she thought that it was the calm before the storm. And I mentioned that I mentioned that it was like that for me too, but it's not the calm before the storm. That's what we are used to expecting. And she said, you're right, I am the storm. And I think that that's actually what made me want to come on this live stream, was because I was like, yes, like, fuck yes, that's the whole idea. There's one of the attendees of the shadow work event. Her name was the Big Bad Wolf, and whenever we came on, I did some like laser coaching with a couple of people, and she was talking about her name being the Big Bad Wolf on there and how she was like embracing it. And like there's so much fucking meaning underneath being able to embrace that. It's the adversary, right? It's the devil. It's like knowing that you are like, you're the storm, you're the wolf, you're the devil, you're the adversary, right? And being able to identify that and live that and face that and know that it doesn't actually fucking matter what anybody else thinks. It's like a risk that so many people are not willing to take, even people who are fully committed to this path, that we're all walking right now. Like I've had conversations with people who have had decades of experience, who are totally drowning in victim consciousness and like, recreating their own survival instincts being made manifest in their life. And another thing we talked about on that 3-day event was how, we as adversarial type of people like having the comfort of chaos and disruption and destruction happening in our lives, so much so that we will create it so that we can keep on feeling comfortable in our chaos. But what happens whenever you start to alchemize all of that shit, the shit that creates the shit on the outside, is that you start to actually stream the chaos. And like I talked about on the thing with Curtis and Kova, is that like you can look at it like you're a filter through which chaos and what's not ordered already and all of potentiality and yeah, all of the possibilities now get to pass through this filter, which is you. And on the other side is who you're being, what you're being, and just who you are, without guilt, without shame, without blame, without fear. It comes through, you're taking this limitless possibilities, passing it through this filter, which you've totally cleared out, and it manifests into the world as like what you decide, instead of taking what's already ordered and causing chaos in it. You're actually able to channel chaos. So people take what's ordered already and use shadow energy, or even sometimes light energy, to destroy like what's already ordered, instead of to create chaos, which, you know, you have unlimited possibilities from the rubble of that chaos, right? But you don't have to do it like that. You can actually have access to the chaos, to the limitless potential, and be able to pass it through this filter. But like, the filter has, like, you have to structure it. Like, it's weird. It's also not structured. It's something that, like, it's not even, yeah. It comes from really paying attention to and cleaning out all the shit that isn't already you. Like, all the shit that, like, yeah, I don't know. I'll have to think about that one. Maybe I'm lost, but who said what you are explaining is alien? I don't know. I think that it's bullshit, Dice Controller. I think that that looks like mental illness. And yes, I did see it, and I unsubscribed that day because I was like, that's mental illness. That is the second breakdown that I've seen. Yeah, not here for it. Does your intuition tell you that Orly is safe right now? Just wondering. Actually, I don't really care to talk about that. I mean, that's not my business. But I think that she's safe and happy. Hey Vav, hey Yod, hey Vav, hey Yod. The Antichrist hijacked the energy. Thank you, Astrid. Hey Nicole, what's up? Yeah, totally welcome. Yeah, we also walk a fine fucking line between total Godhead and complete mental illness. Like, it looks sometimes like you're going crazy to some people. But there's also a part of that where if you are trying to stream this energy through a filter, if you have access to this energy somehow, and the filter you're trying to stream it through is filled with shadow, that will also cause someone to go crazy and will cause mental health. It'll cause mental health issues, physical health issues, all kinds of problems in your life. Never being able to be certain, never having any like total fucking 100% belief in what you're talking about, like, or living. Like, it's a really subtle, very subtle difference. But it's definitely a difference, and it's definitely there. Becoming the true self by doing things are more important, like daily meditations, rituals, and mundane human stuff like math or career paths. Oh, you didn't say more important. You just said important. Hombrecito, what's up, dude? You're 100% right. The slightest shadow can taint the hijacked energy. That's on point. Yeah. So if there's anywhere in your life that like you're living for anybody else's approval, if you're thinking that like it's not fair, whatever it is, like whatever it is, like it's not fair, or like they shouldn't do that to me, or like I don't know, I don't have the answers, like this doesn't make any sense for me to be doing or saying. Like that's kind of actually a kick that I've been on lately for the past couple of weeks, is like to not need anything to make sense. And the stuff that comes from things not needing to make sense is like, it's wild and it's oddly pleasurable. Like, but it wouldn't be pleasurable if I wasn't owning, like 100% owning like the darkness that's in me, right? It would be completely unpleasurable. Yeah, I don't think there's any other way to put it. It would be really unpleasurable if I didn't know it was happening. And so I guess because I know it's happening, I don't need a mental health break, right? I don't need to like check out to make myself better. I know that like the thing that's happening, the thing that I would have maybe taken a mental health break for a year ago, I know that that is like the upgrade. And it's like how we approach it is, and that's like the difference maker. It's like how we approach the situation and what we are choosing to believe in that given moment, and what actions we take based off of what we're choosing to believe, whether we retreat or go fight for, you know, our limitations, go fight for approval, like for safety, go fight for safety, right? Like, I don't know, it's all kind of just comical. It's kind of funny. There's no topic. There's no topic. It's just quietness. Like, I wasn't even sure that I wanted to come back on to Discord today. And so this week I do want to make videos about my Gray asked me to make a video about my experience with Hecate, the one that like completely changed my life. And I know that I'm wanting to make a video with Lucifer and Ha-Agenti, but it's just not like, it's just not necessary right now. And yeah, what I would really like to show people is that, like, because y'all know I do business. I love creating businesses with people, teaching people how to create businesses. I love making money. I love spending money. I love things of this world. Like, I love the things that are like dirty to the spiritual world. And what was I gonna say? I can't remember. Yeah, fuck. I don't know. Oh, I know what it was. And thank you, Dragon Star Alchemy. Yeah, I love all of these things. And I also really highly value my solitude. I value building tension in my life to where it feels like it's just about to bust. Like, you know, I don't know. I feel like that tension is just like so incredibly important. And then like, sometimes, you know, I'll take breaks from making videos for 2 weeks. And I also want people to know that like you can have a totally successful business. You can make all the money that you want. You can live the life that you actually want. And it doesn't have to be to any standard. Like before I like came onto the magical scene here, like I was all about like I know everything that there is to know about creating and running just about any kind of business online, especially that you can know, like marketing, writing copy, email campaigns, setting up and running filter funnels, like complex funnels and email campaigns to those funnels, and like being able to tag and label if people clicked something or didn't click something, and to be able to send more messages to people who didn't click so that they will click. And you know, I know how to do all of this stuff, and to run ads, and to be able to retarget ads, and to be able to like just really hone in on like who I want to hone in on and like target, and like I know how to like do business the way that business is usually done and is usually successful. If you follow these steps, you will get these results, right? Like that shit is so boring to me. And yet, somehow, I'm able to totally honor the fact that if I don't want to make a video for 2 weeks or 2 months, or if I want to burn my fucking business down to the ground and not like have it for a year, and then the first week I decide that I want to start a business again, make like $6,000, you know, like I can make money because I command money, right? I want people to know that like you don't have to have all the things in order to have like a successful, in your eyes, successful business or life. That you don't have to live up to other people's standards, that you don't have to play by other people's rules, that I want people to see that like you can come on here and just like ramble and talk about random ass bullshit that doesn't even matter, and still like do what you want and be successful at it, you know? So that's what I was thinking about, that how like I haven't come on here for a couple weeks, and there's like 3 videos that I for sure want to make, and there's a paranormal video that Chris and I did like 2 months ago, probably by now, that I haven't even edited or released. Maybe it was just a month ago, but still, like, and I don't have to feel bad for it, because sometimes that's what happens, is that we think that like we make promises, or we like, you know, even if it's just to ourselves, or we tell somebody that we're going to do something and then we just don't do it. It's again that fine line. Is it shadow, or is it like your chaos? You know, is it like, if I don't do this thing, I will be out of integrity with myself? Because that's really kind of where it comes down to, is like being in integrity with what like you're deciding for yourself in any given moment. And if somebody does or doesn't like it is actually none of your business. And for some reason, all of that's just wanting to come out now, because I said that there was 3 videos that I wanted to make. So yeah, we get to decide like if we want to beat ourselves up for it and stress out about it. And I know lots of people on here probably procrastinate like crazy. And so instead of like beating yourself up while you procrastinate, like actually just doing things that you want to do, instead of being mad at yourself for doing things that you said you'd do, like it all will work itself out whenever you're taking actions that are aligned to who you really are. Like sometimes I'll say that I'm going to do something and it's out of shadow. And once I like realized that I said that I would do that because I want like this person's approval, or I need like the illusion of safety and security to be fulfilled by taking this action, Like at any given moment, whenever I'm feeling that, ugh, I don't really want to do that, I wish I didn't say that I would do that, I can just click out of it and be like, actually, that thing was in shadow. Like I said that I would do that because I needed approval or acceptance or security, right? And I can make the choice to not do it. And then I can even look at like that relationship, is that whole relationship based out of shadow? And I can like see like, you know, does this relationship serve purpose in my life? Is there something that I'm like wanting from this person? Right? And then you get to like reveal all of the shadowy, shameful shit that you're like holding on to. Um, and you get to like kind of turn it off or destroy that whole thing, and suddenly it's just gone and you don't have anything to worry about or do. um I know that all of this is just kind of like random thoughts bouncing off of the walls in here, but yeah, I think these are just going to be like my yeah, ramble streams or something. What do you mean dirty? I don't know. Dude, thanks, Dice Controller. What about Primal Craft? Doing what you want and making money. I haven't tapped into that yet. I hope I do. You will. Doing things I need to and not getting mad at myself later because I didn't do it. Yep, that's a huge one. It's so huge. People just like, you say you want to do something, but on the other hand, if you say you're going to do something and it's actually because it was like an inspired action that was like, yeah, I'm going to do that thing, then like holding yourself accountable to do that thing when your shadow's like telling you, oh, it doesn't make sense to do it right now, like you probably shouldn't like because then like you're gonna be seen and that's not safe, you know, like making videos, for instance. I know a lot of people who I talk to are afraid to make videos when really the very thing that you're most afraid of doing, or the things that you're like super ashamed of doing, is where the most of your power is like trapped and like caged up. Like coming on here and just spilling whatever thoughts are floating around in my head or wherever I'm grabbing them from, like that, I would have never done that. Like I'm somebody who used to take meticulous notes and bullet points so that I could make sure that I hit every single one. Sometimes I would even like write out a script and put it on my fucking computer, like behind my phone, and be able to like read it off of the fucking computer, right? Like that was something that like needed to be right. It needed to be perfect. I needed to get it right. I needed to make sure that it would land, that it would make sense to who's listening. Now I'm like, I don't fucking care. Like why would I care? Like if there's one sentence that somebody comes on for, then like they're obviously requesting that sentence, right? Or if somebody comes on and is like, what the fuck is she talking about? Like, I also don't care. It doesn't get to matter, right? So the things that you're like most afraid of doing, you need to do them. And if you're procrastinating on it because you're afraid of doing it, that's a different story entirely. That's a story that's like, okay, you need to tell your fear to go sit in the corner and take care of your shit, because that kind of action, it will create alchemy. Like it will collapse time. Something that would have maybe taken you 5 months to do, suddenly you get like an inspired idea for an inspired action. And if you just take that action, you might meet the person you need to meet in order to make like this thing, this resource free up, that you wouldn't have made that resource free up until like 5 months down the line. But because you listened to that inspired action and you told your fear to fuck off, like you get to actually do it now. And your like desires and requirements are being met because you're making your fear take a back seat to your will, which is obviously the most important thing is your will. That's so funny that you said that, because I just had to wipe my thing down earlier when I first got on. Thanks, guys. All right. See, I don't want to be on here too long. I just wanted to come on because, sometimes you just have to build momentum for yourself. And I needed a journal. I needed a rambly journal. So I did it. And now I think I'm going to go to bed. Actually, I'm going to go take a shower and then go to bed. Don't be astral projecting over to my house. I don't want any company. I just realized that once I said that I was going to go take a shower, might have sounded inviting, which is not what I was doing. Okay. All right. The prophetess. I love you. Oh, awesome. All right, you guys. I'll see you all soon. Don't know when, but soon. All right. Bye.